and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading Xiao's reader by me, so let's get into it. Xiao was moody. Though adept faced problems concerning their own emotions, he was still a moody person, and anyone could see it. He was attached, and sometimes he wouldn't want to eat anything. Sometimes he didn't want to see anyone completely. Some other times, he would hang out by the inn and tried to socialize, which was really hard for him. And other times, he just wanted to watch the sky and maybe eat almond tofu. He was weird compared to adepti and people, but that doesn't mean that he was complicated enough that no one would understand him, because you were right there. You worked at the inn, and every time Xiao came, he would request your almond tofu. Since you made it best, as you said it. It was flattering at first, and always made you more happy to work there. And instead of just being something that you strive for, somehow the land had blurred for you, and your work at the inn became something that just consisted of moments where you waited for Xiao to come back to make him test your almond tofu that you would try to improve upon every single time. It wasn't supposed to be like this. You liked working way before you came here. So what changed? Right now, whenever he was not around, you would be lagging behind. You would be thinking of him. When you wake up, when you're working, when you're on break, he was taking up your mind like a parasite, and you had no control over it whatsoever. And this day, you wouldn't know that it would change your life forever. Just because Xiao told someone that he wanted to see you, the chef behind the almond tofu, and when you went up to him, he was just as beautiful as you remember the first time. Just as beautiful as on all the tales. And none of the scariness that the people described. He stood before him, smiling gently, and you could describe you as gentle as a sunflower. Something nice and cheery. And it would always bring happiness into his day whenever he least expected it. Xiao-san, is there anything I can do to help you? You ask, fidgeting, not knowing exactly why he called you up. And after a bit of silence, I want to try something else from your hands, he said. This was strange, a very strange occurrence, because everyone knows that Xiao only eats almond tofu, and no other thing could satisfy him. So this request made you nervous, but you obliged nonetheless, nodding and going to make him the finest of meals, wanting to please him and satisfy him. After all, perhaps this would be one way to get what was in your mind. You wanted him to notice you, and you were being given a chance right now. And you watched him eat, feeling your heartbeat pick up as you tasted the food that you made. But then you have a satisfied hum, smiling. It's edible. A lot better than I thought. And if anyone else told you edible, he would be insulted. But seeing you for Xiao was different. It didn't taste food like you did. So for something to be edible in a positive way, you were more than honored. I could make you something else. Or I could make you more of this if you want. He nodded. I want to eat here more often. And I want to try your other meals. You're a very talented chef. And from then on, Xiao would come every single day, sometimes even coming twice. And you realized that it wasn't just about your food. No. Something in him had changed too. And those meetings, They were more about meeting you. They weren't to know your thought process behind the food or how you made it. He wanted to see you, your smile, your face, and your enthusiasm. He made him happy, even though he would never say that loud. But then, during those meetings, after realizing the fact, Xiao decided that maybe he should be more open with you. See how it goes. And this was the first time that Xiao actively tried to reach out. And so the deal. He told him about your family, about your parents and how it was. He told him about your passions. And he told you stories of the past. He told you about things you never thought were real. He told you history. And sometimes, though those were rare, he would tell you about himself. He would tell you about his old days, or how he feels, or what his favorite constellation was. And all those things. And during all those times, you would look up at him and listen attentively, like no one else did. And one day, when he told you about his past, about his master before Chun Li, it was horrible, painful even. So you reached out, holding his hand, and watched for his reaction. And though Xiao flinched at first, hesitant, and looked at you, not knowing this, being so totally unfamiliar with this, the gentleness in the touch, he slowly eased himself into it, letting himself relax and hold your hand, relaxing as he squeezed his, and letting out a soft sigh. And somehow, during that single moment, it felt like you were healing all of his pains and all the past memories and suffering just by being there with him, just by your hand holding his. And in that moment, Xiao knew that he was in love, so terribly and badly in love, and there was no way out of it.